So punching up that white value of the head, I changed it quite a bit for the better, and that's kind of a good example of how, I mean, obviously there's still more to be done, but it's a good example of how making sure you have the right values in your piece. By values, I mean sort of like the black to white range of the color. Otherwise things just look muddy and flat and
So I totally lost track of time here, but it's almost 8 o'clock. So
everyone's falling asleep.
no, in a good way. Like I just got sucked in watching this painting happen. So we got like 15, a little more than 15 minutes left. So make sure you guys get your questions out there. Laura has been we're having a back and forth little discussion. She's trying to understand how you paint shadows and highlights without having them conflict with lighting in game. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Okay, I'm kind of, yeah, so it's going to be a very tricky balance, right? And for the most part, you can sort of get away with it, kind of. But when I say don't paint in lighting information, I won't go in. I won't go in and do like super bright highlights anyway. Ignore the fact I put like a highlight in the eye. I just put that in there for the painting stage just so I can get a better sense of the character. The spec map should take care of that pretty well later on. I'm going to be painting in like a slight top-down gradient, and that's obviously going to give you sort of like somewhat of a highlight on top, gradiating to like shadow. And you sort of need to play with light and dark to sort of create the forms somewhat. But how can I explain this? If anything, I'm not trying to be super heavy-handed with my lighting and shadow. There will be some. Obviously, the AO is actually providing some shadow to this piece, but I just don't want to go overboard. And I mean, the reason being is that the normal map and the lighting system takes care of those things for us. Like it provides the highlights and the shadow, as you can see here. So I mean, if this guy's body is in shadow and the light's coming from this direction and this side's all in shadow, if we had like a super strong highlight over here, it kind of conflicts the lighting situation in the scene. So just be aware of that, and if you are sort of painting in sort of like highlight and shadow like I've done here, just keep it subtle, and everything else will sort of be dictated in our spec map and the shader. Which is another reason why maybe the metal right now is looking quite flat, because a lot of these interesting highlights that really sell the fact that it is metal will come from the specular map. But it's definitely a balancing act that you need to sort of go back and forth between your texture and your game and just make sure it's all balanced and working right and nothing's looking too strange. These sort of hand-painted games get away with a little bit of lighting information, but less is definitely better. If that makes sense, Laura?
Yeah, I think that helps. Just subtlety is the key. She says it.
Yeah, subtlety is definitely the key. For sure. And when I've sort of finished this piece, you'll sort of see the level of information I take it to. Yeah, so don't fret if we don't get to see everything in this week and next week. Even after the class is finished, I'm going to have to do a supplementary that, similar to what I do with the modeling videos, that just runs through the entire process all sped up. It just may not be available straight away, but it'll come. You can see here I'm just sort of throwing in a little bit more color. Just some saturated oranges and slight little highlights just to start breaking up the metal, give it that metallic feel.